So that was Sean Diver just playing us in there while we were waiting to get started. Hi, my name's Grant, as most of you know by now. Okay, so why are you here? Why are you here? Hopefully you're here because you like art culture, you can see the benefits it has in the community. Either you're artists yourselves or your friends and family and support an artist. As most friends and family of artists know, that sometimes you do need to take a bit of a back seat to the artist because they're doing what they're doing. So I want Fringe is not just being a support for artists. We also want to be a support for friends and family of artists where we can all come together and where we can promote art culture in Logan.
So where we came from with Fringe, basically, long story short, we saw the need for Logan as a community to have a place where we could all connect via arts culture. We know that all the artists that we've had in touch with over the last 12 months tend to go outside Logan to celebrate what they do, and we're constantly travelling all the way down to Miami or all into the West End or the city to go and see art culture, when really it could be something that we're celebrating right here. So this is what we've done. We've brought together a few people. I'm hoping that we'll have a few more drop-ins as the day progresses, but it's going to be really exciting. We're going to hear from some amazing speakers. We've got a couple of, I don't know if anyone's had a chance to look because we've been madly setting up, but we've got a couple of raffle boxes over there. If you want to chip in, and my brother at the back, Luke, with the hand up, he is taking money for Life 2, which I'll get Jane to have a couple of words about. But basically, you get to take home a couple of boxes of goodies. There's some local art in there. So you'll actually see a couple of Karen's books, some photography, and some other crafty bits and pieces that hopefully you'll love. And I'll hand it over to Jane now, and she can give us a quick rundown.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I have a little bit of a thing written, but I'll probably wing most of this. I want to say thank you to you guys for inviting me to come along and be involved in this, because I think this is a really important thing for Logan. I've been living in Logan for the last 20 years, and I've seen the culture of the area just progress so much over that time. And I want to thank you guys and you guys for supporting the Life 2 project, because that's the work that I've been working on for the last 5 years or so. That's my banner over there. So I work with women who've experienced domestic violence, and you might be kind of a little bit iffy about the connection between what I do there and how that links in with art and creativity and culture. Well, not many people know, but I actually went to art college in my teens back in the UK, and I actually just worked that out. It was about 30 years ago that I was there, and it was a bit of a shock this morning when I worked that out. Most of my creativity back then was focused on my wild hair and makeup rather than anything else. But it was years later that creative side kind of came back to the forefront, when I found myself in a pretty dark place, having got myself into quite an abusive relationship. And through the need to go through a healing process as part of all of that, I turned back to my sense of creativity and the artist in me to kind of refocus and bring some of that emotional healing back into my life. So creativity in itself, comes in many, many forms. And after I left that relationship and, that situation I found myself in, and having to go through that healing process, I started to realize, that I needed to get back into that somehow. So the Life 2 project kind of became another form of creativity in creating a business around the experiences that I'd had, when I discovered that so many women were in the position that I was in, having a real need for healing from trauma, but no financial means to actually gain that. And I began to understand that the perception that we have of women who've been through those experiences is very, very wrong, due to the fact of a lot of awareness campaigns that are, you know, trying to promote and do good in the area, but actually labeling women as victims. So actually putting women in a place where their own self-perception is really quite harmful in, you know, your perception of a victim usually being someone who's helpless and hopeless and someone to be pitied and someone who is, you know, in a position that they can't help themselves. Well, my experience of those women that I work with is something very, very the opposite to that. The women that I work with have an enormous amount of strength and resiliency and determination to actually better their lives, but are held back by that public perception of victim. So I've put in thousands of hours of research, development, ideas and discussions around what I wanted to create in the Life 2 project, and that's come to fruition I now run retreats and workshops of women that actually promotes that sense of self-empowerment. So my mantra is heal, empower, educate and connect, as you see on the banner there. So we do a lot of one-on-one work. It's a 3-day retreat is our main project, where we do one-on-one work where we go into deep healing processes. We do group work. We do a lot of education around how post-traumatic stress affects your physical body and your neurology. So we make that connection to the whole body and spiritual connection as well. And connection. So, you know, I think I worked out there's something like 4 million women walking around in a state of post-traumatic stress with no real way to deal with it because of financial challenges. So the fundraising that I do goes towards providing free places or very low-cost places for women to actually come into our retreats and get the healing that they need. So I want to thank you guys again for supporting that for me and for the practitioners that I work with. And I just want to say have a great day.
Thank you very much. So next we actually have Erin from Arts Pura. We were just highlighting some of her stuff. So don't miss your chance to quiz her about any custom frames that you might need for any of your artworks. She does a great job. They actually just moved to a bigger warehouse. Where is that now? On Ipswich Road in Annerley. So you can get tips from her on your canvas stretching, mounting and presentation, how frames can help with resolving your artwork, preparing support services, gilding your artwork, matting and cutting for beginners, and all sorts of stuff like that. So she's got lots of stuff there, some frames and stuff, and she's also throwing in a $100 gift voucher into the raffle basket. So go and buy a ticket, because we all need frames. Next we have Karen. Karen's been doing some great work. She is an absolute advocate for supporting young people with positive self-image, and she's going to tell you about some of her books and stuff that she's done now.
Thanks very much for your kind introduction, Grant. Hi there, everyone. My name is Karen Tyrrell. I'm an award-winning resilience author, both for adults and for children. And I write books to empower kids and adults to live strong. Now, you may be wondering why I am dressed up as a superhero. And the reason I'm dressed up like this, it's because this is my 8th book that I launched in September. It's called Songbird Superhero, and it empowers girls and boys who may be having trouble with bullies or to stop and prevent it in the future, and it gives them some ways they can believe in themselves. So Songbird, that's me. I get my powers from singing, from science, and also self-belief, believing in myself. Okay? And that's book number 8. Now, I go into schools. This is what I do. I'm an ex-teacher, but I go into schools and I perform pantomimes for this book and my others. And I also teach creative writing. And I also talk about author talks. I teach kids bully prevention skills, coping skills for life. Now, my life hasn't always been like this, and I'd like to take you on a journey through my books. When I was a Logan school teacher, I was bullied by my student and the parents of my student every day for over a year, and they inflicted emotional, yes, and some physical and psychological abuse. I became very stressed. I started grinding my teeth, and at night I would wake up with screaming night terrors. If you haven't heard of those, look them up and find out what they are. I ended up, I won't say where I ended up, but you'll probably put two and two. I escaped and ran. I got a new identity, or at least I thought I did. I think I did, for a while. And that was the beginning of my book. When I came out of hospital, and you all know what sort of hospital I was in if you haven't worked that out, it starts with a psych hospital. And actually, when I was in hospital, I was highly manic and highly psychotic, but not in a dangerous way. But I started writing my memoir, Me and Her, A Memoir of Madness, and for two reasons. I wanted to heal, and I thought it was a pretty good story, what happened to me, and I wanted to help other people so they could cope with anxiety and depression and post-traumatic stress disorder like I did. This book came out in 2012, and I've been a very busy girl since. The following year, I wrote the sequel, Me and Him, A Guide to Recovery, and that's him over there, because we both have recovered from our issues, and you'll have to read it to find out what all the issues are. It's been endorsed by the Black Dog Institute, and you can see the little black dog on the bottom there. And it's also been endorsed by hundreds of mental health organisations. I don't know if I've mentioned already, but I've actually won 3 major mental health achievement awards as well for my books. So they came out, thank you. They came out in 2013. In the same year, as I said, I was being very busy, I wanted to write a book for children because I think prevention is much better than cure. And I wrote Bailey Beats the Blah, and it's about coping skills for children who may show early signs of anxiety and depression. And if you look on the back, down the small print down the bottom, if you've got good eyes, it's been endorsed by Kids Helpline. This book comes with free finger puppets, dot-to-dots, jigsaws, and a whole heap of free resources that come from my website, karentyrrell.com, RRL. As I said before, I'm very passionate about bully prevention, and I've lost a book. Yes, that's the book I was looking for. Thank you, Grant. The following year, I brought out Stop the Bully. Now, you think, how could a book called Stop the Bully be fun? Well, it is. All my books have humour in them because I think humour is very powerful and it's a very good way to help in your healing process. So this book is all about bully prevention skills and also kids that already have bully issues, and it goes through all the steps, and there's a lot of taekwondo, but a lot of the mental taekwondo as well as the physical. Actually, when I go into school, see Amelia on the front cover, that's how I dress up, and I'm actually booked in to go to Shayla Park Primary School first thing next year. This year, I think I've had about half a dozen bookings for bully prevention in high schools and primary schools. Yes, this one is also endorsed by Kids Helpline. You can see the little logo on the back. It also comes with about 20 or 30 resources that are free downloadable from my website. Okay, so the next book, my father has memory loss. My father-in-law, Steve's father, has Alzheimer's. And we spend a lot of time with them, caring for them. And we know things that help to improve their memory and their coping skills. And I've also done a lot of research. So we wrote this book. It's called Harry Helps Grandpa Remember. It's been endorsed by Alzheimer's Australia. If you look on the back, there's also a little Queensland government logo. I won a grant through Queensland government through the Arts Queensland and also through Logan City Council. I won a grant for that book. It's a picture book, but it also comes with all the other goodies of, little finger puppets and jigsaws and all the other resources that are free. Hands up if you love Star Wars. Hands up if you're a Star Wars fan. I've been a Star Wars fan and a sci-fi fan all my life. Now, I've written, I think those first books, I think there's 5 books there. And I thought, okay, the books are very, very focused on all those things that I talked about, bully prevention, coping skills. Now I thought I'm going to really let my hair down and write a lot of humour, a lot of fun, but also with those messages as well. So I wrote Joe Kin versus... Oh, no, that's book 2. Joe Kin battles the It. Now, the boy in blue, that's Joshua Atkins. He wins a space contest and he becomes Joe Kin. Okay, and his job is to go out into space and to kill not kill, actually we don't talk about kill. He talks about capture. He captures the killer robots and the gruesome monsters and he saves planet Earth and the galaxy, of course. But the skills in this book that are taught are coping skills, messages of perseverance, determination, working as a team power, using your brain power, and also lots and lots of humour. It's illustrated with cartoons throughout. And my books are illustrated by Trevor Salter. Some of you might know him. He comes from Laidley. And that's book 1 of the series. Next is book 2, and that's called Joe Kin versus Lord Terror. And you see that planet with the eye? Well, that planet is made entirely out of food. So kids absolutely love it. And that planet is called Planet Delicious. And it's also illustrated with cartoons and comics and fun, lots of humour and all those positive messages that I said before. So now we come back to where we started. And that is Songbird, Superhero, which came out in September. Like all my books, they've all got 5-star reviews, not only by big reviewers, but also from children. And I can see one little girl. Put your hand up if you've ever read Songbird. Yes. Alison and Grant's little daughter have, and she's loved it. And I think I have a photo of you holding the book, haven't I? Yes. I thought so. I think I put it up on oh, I shouldn't say that. Let's put it up on somewhere. No name on it, of course. No, of course. Okay. So, oh yes, at the moment, I'm writing the sequel to Songbird Superhero, and it's called Songbird Saves the World. And it's got a bullying theme, but also a bigger theme of saving the environment, which is a thing that I'm really passionate about. And so that should be coming out in June in 2017. Now you might ask, how did I write 9 books in 5 years? Okay, who would like to know? All right, I'll let you know. Now, I probably could share hundreds of tips, but I'll give you my top 3 tips today. Is there any budding writers in the audience that'd like to learn how to write? Yes, do some fiction or memoir. Okay, Alison's there. Okay, my number 1 tip is learn the craft of writing. That means go to writing courses. Practice writing every day. Learn your craft. Number 2 is write what you're passionate about, because if you write what you're passionate about, it's like artists the same. If you paint what you're passionate about, it will shine through in your writing as it will shine through in your art. And number 3, the most important message is to never, ever give up. To keep on writing, to keep believing you will get published, and you will. Hey. Okay. Now, before I go, I'd just like to let you know my books are all over here. I've got 8 books. They're on sale today. I have special packages. It goes like this. The more you buy, the cheaper they get. Okay, so if you buy one, there's one price. If you buy the lot. I also run writing workshops, and I've got some flyers over here. There's my next writing workshop. It's all about books and publishing and writing, and that comes out on the 28th of January, and it's going to be at Springwood. And also I have flyers with more information about my books as well. And you can go to my website and you can download free resources. My website is karentyrrell.com, RRLL. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. So with Jane and with Karen, the whole idea of Fringe is that we use the power that we have together to actually help push each other to do better things and exposure as well. So if any of you guys have anyone who has any needs that fits into these two categories, either whether it's with Jane and the Life 2 project, if there's anyone with any needs there, or with Karen and the bullying, or just any kids that have any issues like that, check them both out. It'd be really helpful to everyone. Next we have Omi Lee. So Omi Lee has a background in textiles and design. She's pretty prolific as well, predominantly in working with palette knife, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does.
Hi, I think I've met probably about half of you before, but for those who haven't met me, I'm Omi Lee. I'm a visual artist, and I'm in Logan. And I kind of want to give you a bit of I want to talk today about basically how to get into the arts, whatever your art practice might be. How do you take those steps, and how do you keep it going, that kind of thing. And I thought to do that I might actually just kind of tell you how I got into it and then go from there. So I actually I was pregnant with my son. This was 7 years ago. I had left work because I was way too tired, and I couldn't work and be pregnant at the same time. I wasn't very good at that. So I left work and I was at home, and I did all that nesting thing that mothers do, and I started decorating the house and throwing things away and buying new furniture and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to do some creative things as well. So I went and got some canvases and some paint, and I started making some paintings, and just to put onto my wall, just to make my walls look pretty. And I'd never really painted before in my life, apart from at high school, when art wasn't huge on my list of favourite subjects. I didn't really connect with the teacher too well, so I actually went into design, and that's how I went to fashion design and working in textiles. And I kind of like to map things out and sketch things out and stuff like that more than any other type of artwork. And I don't know, something happened where at this particular time I needed to have paint, and I needed to have paintbrushes and canvas and just see where that went. So I did that, and I decorated my house, and it was all very beautiful, and I had my baby, and 6 months later I thought, okay, I've got to get out of the house, got to do something. So I painted some more, I'd made some more paintings, I took photos of them, and I went onto one of those online, put your paintings or put your pictures onto like little homewares and cushions and diaries and all of those kind of things. Went onto one of those online websites and uploaded all of my pictures and put them onto all these nice things, and I bought some back, and then I took them to the markets. And I started off at the Beenleigh Showgrounds, and I was taking all my little wares, and people were buying them, and I took my baby with me, and it was a lot of fun. And someone, a husband and wife couple, actually approached me, and they said, where's the original artwork? What are you doing with that? And I said, well, it's just on my walls at home. It's just, it's just something pretty at home. And they said, we want to give you an exhibition. And I said, what do you mean? and they said, well, we're getting some people together. It's all people that haven't ever exhibited before. And they just wanted to, it was just something that they wanted to do. And it was funny that like they were in the same place as me, and we got to talking, and we put on an exhibition at Circle Gallery at West End, and I got to meet all of these other artists, and they kind of convinced me that I was one of those too, so I didn't really think that. But from there, I actually made a friend who, her husband owned a sushi restaurant down at Tedder Avenue down the coast. They wanted to put some of my artwork in their restaurant, so I started doing that as well. And then from there, I met another friend who had a framing place, and she wanted to put up an exhibition with paperworks and works on paper. So these three things were my first entry into the art world, and I found that from then my confidence grew, and I was able to go and approach some galleries and talk to them about getting involved in group exhibitions and stuff like that. And about 3 years later, I was on to my own solo. And it was only because I had gone out and spoken to a lot of people about what I was doing and made lots of friends and made lots of connections, and had a lot of people start to come and approach me and say, hey, we've got this group exhibition on, would you like to be involved? And I find that I do that myself now a lot. I've got a lot of artist friends, and I'm doing that this exactly the same. And I just wanted to really touch on like how important it is just to make those connections all the time. Come to events like this, go and become members at local artist groups, and attend a lot of other people's events as well. So, you know, if you've got a friend who's having an exhibition, you go to theirs. If there's a book launch or something like that, if there's a musician on that you like, you just keep going, and you just keep making more and more contacts, and that will always get you further feet in the door at lots of other places. Now, over the last couple of years, I've actually Ali mentioned this just before about going to Miami and West End. Sorry to promote that, but I actually now, over the last 12 months, I've been managing exhibitions at Miami Marquetta. So if anyone's here that does photography or artwork or makes crafts or anything at all and wants a space, and it's absolutely free, we take a small percentage of whatever you sell, but other than that, you can put it all in there for free. Come and see me about that. I'd love to meet some new people. I also manage bookings for showcases at Gemapel Designs, which is it's a interior design showroom and consultancy. So they like to have artists there for week-long or 2-week-long showcases. And it's in amongst all of this interior design furniture and homewares and all that kind of stuff. So it's a completely different avenue to what your exhibitions at galleries would give you. So if anyone wants to know about doing those, come and talk to me about that as well. And while I'm here and talking about like how to make contacts with people who have those kind of opportunities available, there's a few people here, and also some people who couldn't come, that I know offer similar kinds of things. I know Peter does workshops, and she'll probably come up and talk to you about that at some point. Ali and Grant do amazing support within their blog and stuff like that. So if you want to get your name out there, they will be happy to feature you in any of your artistic ventures that you are doing, and write about you and get you involved in podcasts and videos and stuff like that. They've even taken my artwork out onto the street and asked people their opinion on it, which was really, really interesting. So there's lots of ideas like that. I have a friend, Chantel Scott. She couldn't be here today. She really wanted to, but she's very sick. She actually is running a postcard swap. So any artist will get a postcard to draw on, a blank one to draw on, and then they give it back, and it gets swapped with any other artist, and they sign it, just exchange postcards. So, and a lot of the money goes into charity as well. So there's that kind of thing too. So I think if once we finish today, if everyone goes around and just has a bit of a chat to people, you're going to find that there's going to be people here that's going to help you take any next steps, like into furthering your career. So that's all I really wanted to say today. And just come and say hello if there's anything that you want to ask me about what I've spoken about too. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy Lee. Okay, so just on the back of that, like she said, what Fringe does is we're trying to be an aggregator. So there's lots of little art groups around Logan. There's LAA, who some of you know of, Logan Artists Alliance, and they have a little gallery down at Logan Lee. Tremendous gallery. Not many people know about it. No. Oh yeah, Mark. Yeah, Mark does a lot of stuff there. What's your position there at the moment? Gallery coordinator. So if you have an exhibit and you want to try and get it into a gallery, Mark is the gallery coordinator at Able Gallery, Logan Artists Alliance Able Gallery. So there's a really good person to get your name in with. And the other thing is in Logan we have an undercurrent of art culture. It's just not at the top level. Like when Alison and I started getting into this, we were like, nobody's doing art in Logan. Nobody cares about art in Logan. But we just know that there's artists in their rooms, in their home studios, producing artwork and leaving Logan. And why? Why are they leaving Logan? Because that art culture is so disparate, but we just need to bring it together. And we need to be able to tell people's stories, use the artwork to share everybody's narratives, which Jane does, and what Karen does with her work. She's sharing her narrative of her life experience through her books and helping other people. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to give you 5 or 10 minutes if you want to go and grab another coffee or something. Sean's going to give us 3 or 4 songs just to kind of put a little bit of music in there as well. Thanks very much.
Sometimes you gotta let go, and sometimes you gotta be heard, and sometimes you gotta reach out, yeah, and sometimes you need some help. Well, you could take the world on, you might crash and burn. As long as you try, then I'll be there for you when it hurts. Take all of your mistakes and throw them all away. It's not who you are anymore, that's who you were yesterday. 'Cause sometimes you gotta let go, and sometimes you gotta be heard, and sometimes you gotta reach out, yeah, and sometimes you need some help. In everyone's life that they don't want to cross. You might hurt someone on the way. Take the risk, take it with the loss. And the mindset you need to have just to get through this life With a cloud of memories in your head, well, they're the only ones in the sky. 'Cause sometimes you gotta let go, and sometimes you gotta be heard, and sometimes you gotta reach out, yeah, and sometimes you need some help. Saying sometimes you gotta let go, and sometimes you gotta be heard, and sometimes you gotta reach out, yeah, and sometimes you need some help. Just saying sometimes you gotta let go, and sometimes you gotta be heard, and sometimes you gotta reach out, yeah, and sometimes you need some help. I say sometimes you need some help. Well, thank you very much. This next song is called Nothing's Gonna Change. I learned a lot of things when I was younger. Didn't make me weak, it made me stronger. Went through a hell and back with my head held high. A hard time will help you live longer. Hope comes when you finally conquer. All the things that get in the way now seem so small. As times pass, you know that I'm still here. Another week, a month, or even a year. As time rolls on by, it doesn't change a thing. And well, nothing's gonna change, yeah, if you try and hold on to everything that's gone bad or gone wrong. And you know it's hard to realize when something's just not right, but you know down deep inside, I say you know down deep inside, when something's just not right, when something's just not right. You open up your arms and let them all in. Tell them all the stories from back when you could have been something and you won't let go now. And when you look up to someone in your life that let you down, and know it makes you think twice. Put your faith in anyone or anything. And some things, well, they come in good time. Don't just sit there and watch it pass by. You gotta grab it by both hands and hang on tight. Because nothing's gonna change, yeah, if you try and hold on to everything that's gone bad or gone wrong. And you know it's hard to realize when something's just not right, but you know down deep inside, I say you know down deep inside, yeah. And it don't have to be like this, living with broken promises and the dreams you got now. What's stopping you from getting out and chasing them down and tell your story proud? It doesn't matter who's listening now. Only thing that matters is you trying to make your own way. Yeah, yeah. And you try to make your own way. And you try to make your own way. Well, you try to make your own way. But nothing's gonna change, yeah, if you try and hold on to everything that's gone bad or gone wrong. And you know it's hard to realize when something's just not right, but you know down deep inside, I say you know down deep inside, When something's just not right. When something's just not right. It's been a little while since you said that you love me now. I know it's hard for you to speak the truth. You haven't said what's on your mind for a while now. You know it'll stay between me and you. I feel these days haven't worked out the way that you want them to. It always seemed like you wanted more. And your eyes, they tell the story to me somehow. As if your tears, they were your voice. Oh, and I know life gets hard and it's mean sometimes, but you wipe those tears, yeah, you dry those eyes. Don't try and live someone else's life. We know all good things, they take time. Nowadays it seems like everyone is moving on. We can't keep up with the times, and you feel that the struggle is real to you somehow. I'm trying to figure out what's on your mind. We can write our own story from here on out. Well, seeing as we've been left behind. Oh, and I know life gets hard and it's mean sometimes, but you wipe those tears, yeah, you dry those eyes. Don't try and live someone else's life. We know all good things, they take time. Yeah. If we just take it one day at a time now, and don't worry about troubles we had before. We just say what's on our minds now. We won't have to worry about things anymore. Oh, and I know life gets hard and it's mean sometimes, but you wipe those tears, yeah, you dry those eyes. Don't try and live someone else's life, yeah. And we know all good things, they take time. Thank you very much. If I've been wasting time chasing you around, going crazy in my mind. If I don't know where you found, then we only got this one life. So let's take it by the hand, don't pass this by. Yeah, there's a time we were young, and a time we were free. We all knew right from wrong, but it never bothered me. I didn't mind the way it felt when you rejected me. But am I doing something wrong? Can anybody else see? Have I been wasting time chasing you around, going crazy in my mind? If I don't know where you found, then we only got this one life. So let's take it by the hand, don't pass this by. Yeah, we could live on an island, we could walk on the beach, and everything would seem timeless, oh, but nothing's out of reach. We could go near, wide and far, and anywhere in between. But there's only one thing gone wrong, there's only one thing bothering me. Have I been wasting time chasing you around, going crazy in my mind? If I don't know where you found, then we only got this one life. So let's take it by the hand, don't pass this by. Have I been wasting time? Well, I've been wasting my time. Oh, I'm thinking of you, baby, going crazy in my mind. I know you were found in the right time in my life, so I will take you by the hand, take this moment with mine. Have I been wasting time chasing you around, going crazy in my mind? If I don't know where you found, then we only got this one life. So let's take it by the hand, don't pass this by. I won't pass this by. Cheers. I've been drinking, and somehow every drink, oh, it reminds me of you, and now you're leaving. Oh, and I finally found a reason to be looking at you, and don't be thinking that for a second, baby, maybe I'll be missing you. Well, we thought about and we talked it out, and it's between me and you, but you don't seem to understand that we are finally through. I'm still drinking because I'm trying to drown these memories and forget about you. Whoa, we'll chase this down, try and drown it out. Whoa, 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 drink this round of misery now. Yeah, yeah, we'll chase this down, try and drown it out. Whoa, 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 drink this round of misery now. Yeah, yeah. And I've been drinking, but when the thought of you will somehow can't escape my mind, my heart is bleeding, yeah. Because a broken man is all that you had left behind, and for no reasons, well, yeah, you left me all alone for all the times that I've tried. Yeah, we fought it out, you threw me out, you expect me to call you. If you think there was another chance to get together and through, I'm still drinking, and I'll be drinking here until I can't forget about you. Whoa, we'll chase chases down. Try and drown it out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Drink this round of misery now. Yeah, yeah, we'll chase this down. Try and drown it out. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Drink this round of misery now. Yeah, the drinks are finished and the song is done. I'm a little drunk and it won't be long too. Sun goes up and sun goes down. I've been saving up the best, but you're still not around to clean the mess we caused in the pain. My life now seems like a walk in the rain. Oh, only thing we know is misery now. Yeah. We'll drink this down and buy another round. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Found this bottle called misery now.
Thank you very much, Sean. And before you run away there, are you playing anywhere in the next little while? You doing any other, because you do lots of open mic stuff, don't you?
Yeah, play at Town Square, Beenleigh, on the 17th.
Okay.
That's the next one.
Cool. On the 17th of December?
Yeah, next
Okay.
weekend.
And that's one of the Music Cavern gigs.
Music
is it?
Cavern gig, yep. Cavern
Okay.
concert.
If you haven't got along to one of the Music Cavern community gigs that they put on, it's all artists, musicians that go to the Music Cavern.
That's Beenleigh.
Yeah.
John Lane.
Sorry?
John-
Down John Lane, yep.
John Lane, Beenleigh.
So any of their students that go there, they put on a concert every couple of months. So if you want to hear some new aspiring artists down there, plus our friend Sean, head on down.
Thank you.
So now we're going to go into the next speaker, who's Peter Thompson. So we've had Peter on our podcast, if you've had a listen to that. She is doing some great work. She's a teacher. She's a mixed media artist. She's does work with the Canefields Clubhouse, who works with people with recovering from mental health struggles. So she's going to tell you a bit about what she does now.
Thank you, Grant. Actually, what I'm talking about today is a little bit about branding. So if you're going into a creative practice, you have to think about what kind of brand do you want to promote, and how simple is your brand to promote. And I've had a few brands over the years depending on what I do, because I'm a mixed media artist, I'm an art therapist. They're two totally different things, and the two kind of really don't connect, or they really shouldn't. And I'm also a teacher and a designer, and I do a lot of different things in the art space. So a little while ago, I do a lot of teaching online, and I have my lessons hosted online because I do a lot of art journaling. You can see a couple of my art journals over there. And I teach a lot of that. And through that, that's how I got into art therapy, because a lot of people got some therapeutic benefit out of what I was doing. So then I went and studied that and did art therapy as well. But I guess when you think about what your brand is, I had to come up with something in the last 6 months that kind of talked at a glance about who I was as an artist. So I've got this little card, but I have this same brand now across my website. So now I've designed and crafted a website that's got an online store, a blog. It's got everything about what I do, and you can purchase workshops, you can purchase my original art, you can purchase anything to do with what I'm doing right now, and you can also purchase any of my charity endeavours through that space. This little brand becomes well known because whenever I post anything from my Facebook page, it's the same brand. Whenever I post anything through Instagram, It's the same brand. And you get to know that the little splotch of colourful daubs, which is not actually anything complicated, is who I am. And I think sometimes as artists, because we're so good at what we do, that we want to make sure that our brand shows something about who we are as people and what we can do. So one of the things that I want to say to you is, think about a simple brand. You think about some of the most successful companies around now, and those companies have really simple brand. Nike has a tick. You know, the Commonwealth Bank has a diamond with a bit out of it. And I think to myself, okay, because I have a background in business. I ran an IT business for quite a few years. And I think about, okay, from the business perspective in art, how is it that we proliferate what we want to do and get our message out to the community, not just locally, but for me, it's a global thing. I'm well known quite internationally as well through the mixed media art world. And I think in that space, the more savvy you can get about doing that and the more disciplined you can be about learning your social media platforms, because it's not just about having a website these days. Everybody kind of has a website. It's not just about having a blog. It's about learning that there are tools out there, something like Hootsuite or other tools where you can post in one place and then it goes to your Instagram account, which links to your Facebook page, and your blog links to your Facebook page, and everything that you do links to something else, so that you're not working harder on numerous platforms, but you're working smarter. And I think too, what Omi Lee was talking about is all of those extra connections as well, because when you are part of a creative community, then that creative community will start sharing the posts that you have, the events that you have, any event that you're holding that they're attending, they will often share that for you. When you're part of a professional organisation like Logan Artists Association, then you can post on their pages and their reach. And I think it's all about learning to have the reach for your craft. And all of us within any kind of creative endeavour, we learn what to do that. I noticed that Karen here, she targets things like Supernova and Comic-Con with her superhero things. So, and that's largely a young adult kind of audience, isn't it? And I know that, you know, middle-aged white Caucasian men like my husband also go, and he knows you. Yeah. So I think too, it's about learning to find what your niche or your demographic is. I'm also on YouTube, so I have, 6,000 people that subscribe to me on YouTube, which gives me an international audience for any new work that I'm doing, any online work, any workshops that I do, any charity events that I promote. So one of the things that I like to do too with my art is to use my art to promote charities. So at the moment I've got these little $5 chicken cards over here. Now I'm a Rotarian, so not only do I use my art for myself, but I use it now for Rotary, which has got the largest international foundation that helps to do things like rid the world of polio, that kind of thing. And so my brand is now going through Rotary, and I'm raising money through Rotary as well. These cards here, they're there to empower. They cost $5 each, and all of that money goes to produce microfinance for widows and educate their children in India. We're partnering with another Rotary club in India to build a school in one of the ghettos that a lot of these widows inhabit after they get thrown out of their homes when their husbands die. So that's what this project, we need $10,000 for the seed money for that. And by the sale of these little cards, which are fabulous as gift cards, I have one on each of my Christmas presents this year. They're fabulous as gift cards, or to put in Secret Santa, or to put anywhere, so you can do that. And I think it's all about using your art in a way that works for you as a person as well, and making that also a part of your brand. So I just want to leave you with this question, you know, what am I putting out there? Who am I as an artist or a creative person? What do I put out there and what is my brand?
Thank you, Peter. Well, we definitely noticed Peter's international audience when we had her on the podcast. We definitely got a Peter bump. We noticed a definite Peter bump, and on the blog as well. Little spike in the month that we had her on. Who do we have next, my dear? Sorry? Matt. Oh, we have Matt coming up. He's a bush poet. He's got a book up here. If you'd like to have a look at it. Matt Langdon. He's done a series of... how many poems are in that book, Matt? 25 poems, but they're nice long ones. So he's going to give us a reading now.
Yep. Well, actually, I was gonna just do a reading, but I want to give a bit of encouragement out there to anyone who is creative. Give you a little bit of my story. I started my life, my working life, as a truck driver. Hence I brand myself as Matt Truckee Langdon. Now I didn't give that to myself. My brother-in-law gave me that, and it's become a really useful marketing tool. I was told a couple of years ago I couldn't go back driving trucks. Now, that was for health reasons, and I've also got a special needs daughter and a few other issues going on at home. So I was trapped. I spent 2 years on the dole, couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job with Woolworths stacking shelves. I couldn't get a job in a servo because all my resume read was truck driving. So I sat there going bonkers, going, well, what do I do? And then I went, well, I'm a bush poet. So I started a website, and I actually it was originally I called it custom written poetry. It's now, I now market it as a personalised bush verse. But I marketed myself and my skills to then start offering gifts of a different niche. So I now, you can come to me and say, I've got a wedding anniversary coming up, I'm father of the bride speech, whatever it may be, and then I'll write you a bush poem. I do wedding vows, I do all kinds of stuff. So I sort of turned my misfortune into something that's now, okay, I don't make, I'm not a millionaire yet, but I've sort of taken what happened to me to turn into something that is now, a lot of people love my poetry. I'm very political, not going to lie to you. I'm very political. I've been told that my bluntness is somewhere between a sledgehammer and a wrecking ball. I've got one poem that if it ever gets read in the public somewhere, especially in places like Melbourne, I'm probably going to get some death threats. And there's another one that I'm working on that's definitely going to get me some death threats. But that's the thing about bush poetry. And that's why I went with it. Bush poetry, it's a bit like your country music artists, and they tell a story. That's why, and I'm not knocking it, but I can't stand pop music because, oh, he loves me, she loves me, oh, he broke up with me, she broke... give me a break. Thank you. Someone else who appreciates it, I love telling a story. I've been told I've got a mouth like a road train. It's slow to start, but once it starts, it doesn't stop. I love telling a story, and that's why I started my skills. I've got some posted out as well over there you can have a look at. But can I just encourage you that if you're in any way creative, if you write, if you draw, if whatever it may be, if you sit there and doodle, there's what's her name? There's a young woman on Twitter that I follow who I think lives on the north side of Brisbane, and I've got to be honest with you, the artwork that she puts out looks like it started there, that she probably just started doodling, and now she sells quite a bit. It's really good stuff. So have a crack. I was talking before with Catherine. Yes, got it right. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. I was talking with Catherine before about there's an author here in Australia now. I cannot remember the guy's name, but it was a very famous book. Wrote this book, sent it to every publisher in the country, tried a few overseas, got nowhere. The thing was typed out, it was in a binder, and it was a doorstop. It was literally holding a door open. His wife, bit of a socialite, many years later, has some friends over. One of these friends, she works for a publishing house. Trips over this thing, says, "What's this?" He says, "Oh, it's just some novel I wrote. It's a piece of garbage, don't worry about it." She said, "Can I have a read of it?" Became a bestseller, you know. J.K. Rowling is another one, wrote the first Harry Potter novel on the back of napkins in a pub while homeless with a kid, you know. You just don't know when your turn's coming. So let me encourage you, have a crack, you know, because at the end of the day, you're only going to get told one or two things. Your work's garbage, your work's great. Well, actually two things. So, you know, at the end of the day, there's stuff I've written that I sit there and I go, "Oh yeah, I don't mind that." And people go, there's stuff I write and I go, "Oh, that's garbage," and people cheer. So, you know, like I said, have a crack, have a go, get involved, especially, you know, with Ali and Grant. This is great. You know, I met Ali through a writers group, and as soon as I found out about it, I jumped at it because, you know, I don't fit the mould of every other bush poet. In fact, I've had a falling out with a bush poets group in recent years, and that's because of my writing style. It's because of what I write about. You know, they don't. It's not old school. It's not the old hand of writing. You know, I tell my stories the way I want to tell them. And I don't apologise for that, you know, and I am who I am, and that comes across in my writing. So get involved, have a crack. Seriously, just have a go. You know, at the end of the day, if someone says your work is garbage, go, "Well, that's your opinion." You know, if you love it, keep doing it. So I'm now going to, this poem was a request, and I apologise, it may be a reading because I work night shift and I knocked off work at 8 this morning and my kids woke me up 2 hours later. So this may end up being a reading, but this is just a short poem. The writers group that meets at Beanley, we did a food and culture thing, not the last meeting, the meeting before. And it was just, you know, everyone just had to write a short story on whatever it was. You know, some people wrote about Russia, some people wrote about, I think someone else, somewhere else in Europe. And so I wrote a bush poem. And this one's simply called Coat of Arms. Now, speaking from experience as one who's oversized, the fact I like my food should not leave you surprised. I've had food from Cairns up north to Melbourne in the south, Sydney, Perth, Adelaide and Port Hedland have fed this mouth. I've eaten many different kinds of food throughout the years, from plain and bland to curries that'd leave you all in tears. I've had real Italian, Indian, Chinese too, Pommy, Yank, German, French and something from a zoo. But even I have limits. Come on, seriously, raw fish. I'd rather eat some meaty bites right out of Fido's dish. And pickled cockies in a can from Asia. Yeah, sounds great. Even poor old Fido winds up braised on your plate. Now that said, I've got favourites. Butter chicken comes to mind. But I won't go past a medium for the sake of my behind. And a plate of mild burritos. Now there's a meal I can smash. Or stroganoff, served atop some good old homemade mash. Apart from them, my palate though is really not that broad. You can't beat Aussie tucker, it's a dinkum smorgasbord. That said, there is a dish or two we've borrowed from overseas. Well, we did start out as a pommes. Sorry, involuntary sneeze. Now I was raised on meat through veg, Weet-Bix Vegemite, mystery bags and crackling on a red hot Christmas night. But overall my favourite, and I'll admit 'tis slightly droll, you simply cannot beat a good old bakery sausage roll. But Christmas made us who we are, it was the safest bet. Baked lunch or dinner would be served while poor mum drowned in sweat. 40 plus outside with backyard cricket, beer and fun. But icy poles and paddle pops near on what mum had done. Now summertime is Barbie time, it's kitchen al fresco. It's dad's domain to burn the meat with 2 beers on the go. Steaks, snags, rissoles, onions, bacon, eggs, tomato, chops, shanks and salads for a bloated Sadiavo. Of note here are the different kinds of animals we eat. Pig, cow, chicken, lamb, the staples of our meat. Throw in emu, croc and roo, the rabbit that made my hat. But no amount of garlic could ever bring me to eat bat. Now I could keep on waffling because we eat our wildlife. The crocs eat us and we eat crocs. It's the twisted circle of life. But I'll end on this one statement, and it's one of our true charms. We're the only country in the world who eat their coat of arms. Thank you very much. You can check out my book, my posters. If you do buy anything through my website, use the promo code FRINGE. We'll get you free shipping, and that's going to be a permanent thing. Everything's on sale for Christmas as well. So thank you, Ali. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you very much. That basically brings us to a close. So thank you very much for everyone for coming. We really do appreciate you making the effort to come out and see us. We would like to make these a more something that happens more often, because we just, we want to build that community. We really want to get this thing rolling because we think it's just going to serve the community. Well, when's the next one? Well, if you feel like coming up to the Bris Asia Festival in February, we'll actually be doing a live podcast in the Valley Mall.
So that live podcast will feature an artist that's not from Logan. She's part of that, and it's a collaboration with Engage Arts. But we are bringing some Logan artists up there. So I don't know if anyone's met Tammy from Tammy Choir, from Tammy's Art Studio. She has, a massive big piece of art on the wall out here. Those apples are hers. But she is bringing her studio. All the kids have done an Asian sort of stuff as part of their general running, because she's very passionate about Asian culture. So all her kids are doing a massive exhibition up there, which is awesome. And Phil B is also going to be doing some live painting. So he's a street artist based in Logan as well, and he's already got some stuff that he's already done for that. We did have Mark was going to contribute as well, but unfortunately I had to cancel that. But Mark's going to be doing stuff with our next event. I haven't asked you yet, but you will be, because you're awesome like that. And anything that we do, we try and promote Logan. So if it's, like I said, if we go outside Logan to do something, we'll try and bring it with us to try and pump you all. But yes, so that's what that's all about. But the next one we're looking at doing after that, so probably we're looking at March so for the next event, and we're trying to do what Eats and Beats do, so it won't always be here. We'll move around Logan, so we're also trying to get everybody involved, so that people don't have to travel so far, because Logan's so massive. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Let's see your experiment. The time traveler smiled roundwards. Then, still smiling, faintly, and with his hands deep in his trouser pockets, he walked slowly out of the room when he heard his slippers shuffling down the long passage to his home.